Hi everyone, it's Sam. This week on our Horus Heresy series, we're painting my favourite legion, the Unbreakable Sons of Rogor Dawn, the Imperial Fists, using the awesome coverage that the two fin coach yellows have. So let's get going. First up as ever is the base coat of the armour layer, and for this I'm using Dark Sun Yellow, and again with base coats you want to keep the paint thin and the brush moving. Don't go back to any areas that are still wet, wait for it to dry and then go back over with a second coat. Now I'm coming in with Death Reaper to do the base coat on the black areas. I'm going to do any of the base coats that I need to do because I prefer to be able to correct any mistakes I make using just the block colour for the armour, in this case Dark Sun Yellow, rather than having to go back in and redo the base coat and the highlight and any shading and stuff like that. Continuing with the base coats, I started the metals with Dwarven Iron. Once the base coats were done, I went in and made sure I tidied up any areas I'd gone over the lines, and there are always areas I go over the lines. I go back with the Dark Sun Yellow and tidy all that up, ready for the next step. Next up we're going to shade the armour, and for this I'm going to use Dry Rust Brown, but I'm going to thin it down to 2 different thicknesses. The first, I'm using 3 drops of water to 1 drop of paint, and that's going to be for the recess shade, any areas where armour plates overlap, etc. And then I'm going to thin it down even more to 5 drops of water and 1 drop of paint, and that's going to be the areas where I glaze in any shadows on the bottom of his arms and the bottom of his legs, anywhere where I want a slightly darker kind of hue where the natural shadow would be. Next up we're going to start defining the details in the armour panels, and to start with I grabbed Yellow Flame and started edge highlighting all the armour. After that I washed the Dwarven Iron areas with Oblivion Black Wash. Once the wash was dry I highlighted any of the metal areas with Surcoat Silver. Again, this is as high as I like to take the metals on pretty much anything Imperial really, and Chaos, because it's a nice industrial kind of looking metal. I'm not a huge fan of really shiny metals on models which would otherwise be mired in the depths of a battle, unless of course it's the edge of a blade. With the metal done, we'll do any tidying up we need to do with Death Reaper, and then we're going to highlight that with Dungeonstone Grey. And finally we're going to start on the lenses, and again I've seen many different colours for Imperial Fist lenses, but I personally prefer green, and that's the colour I've used on all my many Imperial Fists, so I'm going to do that. And to start with we're going to do Emerald Green as a base coat. And to finish off the quick lenses I used Talisman Green just to add a highlight. And there's our finished Imperial Fist, ready to be the wall that holds back the traitors and the aliens. Hopefully this video shows you that when you're using 2 thin coats, yellow isn't a colour to be feared unless it's on the battlefield.